and that you're creating an like an application.
No, and the grant doesn't tell us how to do continuous improvement. It just says continuous improvement, and we pulled from all of our grant deliverables, which are spelled out in our statement of work.
So the deliverable is the EMR star use?
The deliverable is EMR star, period, the creation of it.
Okay. Okay.
This is Rachel.
So is there any way, I just sent a chat out that said, can we just retitle it and say like an EHR baseline, and then we could do like a subdivision of EMR star usage and EMR star, because then we really have a baseline to work out how many people are working on EHR systems. Are we using EMR star? Are we using another EHR? And we can somehow ask the question, what EHR systems that we are utilizing, and you know, it's and are we exposing our students to variety?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So that's how we're going to take it?
It sounds like that's the way the group would like to go, and it does make sense in that this is a capacity building grant. It's a little different from all the others, which were all drawn from our deliverables, but yeah, we can have EMR star as a subcategory.
So is there an EHR system being used? And then I guess, will we call out the other ones, like near perfect? Are we going to outline which other ones are being used, or just a yes or no on EHR and then go into the EMR? I mean, are we going to talk about its functionality, what needs to be improved on it, or?
I don't know.
We should have a baseline on the usage of EHR systems. So if, and I think that's a way to branch off of it, because if this is an HIT grant and it's based around EHRs, everybody should have some type of EHR system that they're using.
Yeah.
Right.
So would the category be EHR integration into instruction, something like that?
That would be good.
Sure.
Okay.
EHR integration.
This is Michelle. Do you think some people are going to be using both EMR star and something else, and they could maybe have compare the two? Or probably not. Probably one, they're just going to pick one and go with that.
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Except maybe IT faculty.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any comparison study we could do at all, but that would be, I think it would be more guidance between students.
And then do we want to start with the basic three that are listed here, the number of students, instead of EMR star, number of students accessing EMRs?
Yeah.
HRs, okay.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, is that number supposed to increase? Because the way I'm thinking of that is we have one course that will be using EMR star, and it's a cohort, so each time, once a year, or once every other quarter, it'll be only 23 students using it. So there won't be like 21 and 26, it's just a cohort.
Yeah, I see your point in terms of continuous improvement.
Yeah. I mean, hypothetically, more students are using it because more students are coming in, but the number is not increasing because they're just using it in the one course.
But your total number is increasing.
The total number is increasing, but yeah.
Because now students have more exposure. to EMR students.
Well, continuous
Okay.
improvement doesn't have to be just numbers. It could be continuous improvement in the sense that there's a statement that it does improve the student experience and the curriculum by infusing either EMR Star or something else in the curriculum.
Okay.
No.
Could we ask the question of exposures? How many different EMR stars are the students exposed to?
Say that again, Maria?
Could we ask the question of how many EMR stars, not EMR star, how many EHRs or EMRs students are exposed to?
Sure.
Because then we could definitely show an increase there.
Yeah.
But would that be only limited to the curriculum type EHR systems versus students in clinicals using different ones, or does that make sense?
I think you would count them all.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Okay.
whether it's classroom or not.
Okay.
I just got an email from Cindy, and she says, could you let Bellevue know that I cannot get a word in on this conversation? Not sure why. Sorry, Cindy.
There you go.
You can
Yeah.
hear me? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, now I've forgotten what I want to say. Yeah, I started emailing everybody, help, help. Okay, so in the meantime, I've totally lost track of the conversation trying to get in. I just want you to know that our MA are we still on the EMR Star?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay. So our medical assisting program started out saying they were not going to use it, and now they are planning on using it in their clinical classes. So for continuous improvement, I think they're going to be using both. So they started with one, and now they're moving to using both. And so I think some of our other programs will be doing that down the line, the same thing, something very similar. So for continuous improvement, I think having both types of EMRs used, and then maybe when they switched over to an EMR Star, I don't know if we want to determine what inspired them or not, but it has to be measurable. But anyway, I was going to put that a little more eloquently, but I lost track. So, okay, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
No, that's good. And we were saying that one of the baseline criteria will be the number of systems that the students are exposed to. So that's wonderful. If they're using more than one, then they're just getting more exposure. So that'll definitely be a measurable statistic to have. Okay, so how many criteria are you looking for that, Michelle or Margaret?
We don't have any set
Well, I
number.
have a set number, but ideally, what were you looking, 3 to 5, or, because it's something we can all noodle for a little bit too, and maybe when we come back to it next month, we'll have some other ideas as far as what we could use.
Yeah, and it's really totally up to the group. And I think different topics warrant different numbers of
Right.
criteria. So if we end up with 3, we end up with 3.
I was also just thinking, do we want something as a difference between exposure, because exposing, you could just do a presentation and display, compared to having something that they're utilizing. Yes. If it's something that we want to differentiate, that we can count, so.
Right, like an actual activity within the particular EMR versus just sitting and watching them, you click around in it for them.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Type of usage.
Number of students with exposure to an EHR and number of students with hands-on
There you go.
Experience with HRs, maybe?
Yeah. Let's get into using. I think that works. Now, as far as faculty, are you talking about that if we bump down to that? Is that the ones who are incorporating it into their actual curriculum? Is that kind of what you're speaking about?
You know, let's talk about that, because there are going to be some faculty participating in the Health IT Faculty Development course that will have EHR exposure in that, but they're not necessarily teaching yet.
Okay.
So I don't know whether we need a couple different measures on that one. So maybe one number of faculty with hands-on experience with EHRs, and then another one number of faculty incorporating EHR instruction into their courses. I don't know.
I mean, I think that would be an interesting thing to see if it grows as the grant goes on. I do. Yeah. I think, because I know a couple of our faculty who did not sign up to do the development, who have been talking to the two that are doing it. They're like, well, how did I not get in on that? How did I not? And so they have actually come down and they've done a couple of sessions just playing around and going through the information that Chris has been getting from the workshop. So.
Oh, and anyone is welcome.
I know, but now they all know this December 15th deadline, and that scares them.
Oh, well, we can extend the, I can keep that open.
Okay. Well, I'll let them know, because I did have two that were kind of, they're like, oh, we should do that, which they were all emailed on it if they bothered to read it. They've been a part of it, but, okay, I'll let them know, and if they want to, I'll certainly send them your contact information.
Yeah, and they're welcome to join the remaining webinar also.
Okay, and that's on the 19th, right, the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, okay, so we have the number with experience, number of faculty who have integrated. Now, maybe, do we want to look at maybe a number of them? Well, because we're not specifically talking about EMR STAR. I was going to say to see if they switched over to one or the other. But that kind of gets more convoluted than we need to, probably. What do you think, Maria? You always have something to say on it.
No, because I would think about the number of faculty members using EHRs or EMRs as part of their curriculum. But what I'm thinking is more like if they're presenting, if they're talking about it, more theoretically, compared to the number of faculty members that are using it completely hands-on, where the students are actually able to, again, with the hands-on stuff, just following up what we said with the students. Perhaps maybe we could even look at the number of faculty familiar, maybe even past experience, or even as far as what they're exploring as far as different EMR systems, because maybe at the moment they're not exactly using it, but they're still exploring different systems, and they're familiar with the, let's see, like the Pearson one. I think Pearson has one, and you're seeing all these new SE shells coming up on the net. So I'm wondering if any faculty members are just exploring different EHR systems. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Some of my instructors are. I mean, one trying out went to training for Allscripts, another one's using Practice Fusion, another one's using the Near Perfect. I'm just trying to get them all on one, so it's consistent. But yeah, they all seem to like certain things about one, so they're just comfortable with them all. So, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. And who actually, just like you said, who presents it kind of as an overall, this is something you need to know or you should know. This is how Open EMR looks versus actually using it in the classroom. I mean, I think there's definitely a difference between the two. Does everybody agree? So that would give us faculty with experience, the number of the faculty who actually integrated versus the number who actually just presented it or did a workshop, so to speak, I guess.
Sure.
Okay.
Esther?
Yep, sounds good.
Did you have something?
Nope.
We kind of skipped over the national dissemination of curricula, although I wasn't sure why it was put right where it was anyway.
Oh, that's for next time around. I mean, that's next
okay.
list.
Okay.
It looks like some of the formatting got a little wonky somehow when we sent it back and forth.
I'm sure I did that when I deleted some things. Because I was looking at mine, and then I looked at the one you sent me, but at that time it was 3:58 here, so it was a done deal. Okay. Well, and then the number 2, the number of EMR Star applications available. That one kind of throws me too. But is there going to be more than one?
Yeah. So when originally this was just EMR Star will have probably it'll end up with 5 different applications by the end of the grant.
Okay.
Next term it'll have 2.
So you want us to rate a baseline for each application it's going to have?
No, now that we've shifted to include a broader EHR baseline, maybe it's maybe we don't need this one, or
okay. Well, it would kind of just be hanging out there all by itself.
Yeah.
So Steve, that's a subcategory for us to evaluate EMR Star for those that do use it.
Sure, we could.
How many people out there right now are going to use it? Do they know? I mean, because I know we're going to be using it at NOVA. We already are using it to a certain extent, and it'll really get into practice in our spring.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is using it out there?
Do we want to do a hand raise?
Sure.
Since I'm not on WebEx, I'd appreciate your telling me who.
Okay, well, so far it's just me, Tony.
So NOVA and Lynette, you all are using EMR Star, and Donna, your student.
This is Lynette, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We aren't using it this quarter. Our IT classes looked into it. The faculty admitted that he was like, they're supposed to send the logins and set up a classroom. They said, they did, I sent it to you, and he goes, oh crap. So he hasn't started using it yet, but he's looking into it. Neither our rad tech or nursing decided to use it this quarter because of what it's based on clinical offices, and neither one of them needed that. Our nursing program is really interested in seeing what Vista looks like, and I think until something matches PACS, our rad tech program won't use it. So that's where we're at.
So next quarter, you'll be using it.
Yes.
Likely. Okay.
Yeah, and the IT and the health IT were interested in it, and they want to use it. He just hasn't had the time to pull it through. So.
Okay. Well, so that's. know about that, but I don't really want to carry the whole baseline criteria for EMR star.
Like I said, we could do exposing. Like I'm exposing them to it, but are we fully utilizing it? Not yet. And that still may change.
Absolutely. Well, and the people that have agreed to use it now, they may decide that they don't want to use it. So they already have other ones. I think there's what is the other one? MedSun or something like that. I know my ASIN program is using. I forget the name of it. There's a lot of them floating around out there.
Mhm. And Whatcom, as Cindy mentioned, they'll be using it also.
Okay.
And Bellevue.
Well, that's good.
You're not alone, Tony.
No, that's okay. I mean, I think it's fun to play in, but I don't have any experience, so to me it's no better or worse than anything else because it's new to me. I think it's kind of fun going in there and playing with the patient records and stuff, but just me. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't really, if we're going to hold off on the national dissemination, unless we want to kind of shake out something for the application baseline, I mean, I don't really know enough about it yet to actually put anything out there.
Do we have a deadline, or is there a date out there about national dissemination?
We're supposed to start now, but we have disseminated a little bit of information, but it goes on from month 13 through month 36. So, not really, Maria.
Right. And you said you want to just table that for another time, right?
Yes, that'll be for our next discussion.
Okay. Well, unless anybody can come up with any other ideas that they can think of for the faculty or the students, I mean, we have 3 for the faculty that we've set out, and 1, 2, 3, 4, correct, Margaret, for the students?
I believe so.
Or actually 5, you know, if we count, if it's even being used. So I think that's a pretty good start. Agreed, or would you like to see some more, or are you content with that?
Okay with us, whatever the group thinks.
Well,
I'm good with it. I think that we're fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of stuff to be keeping track of, so, and at least it's pertinent. That's what I feel like. If you just start adding, it just becomes unnecessary. So that would really much cover that, unless anybody has something else that they need to bring up or discuss at this point.
Can we get one document of all the baseline criteria that we've come up with?
That's a very good suggestion, Maria. And I will put that together.
Sorry, Margaret. More work for you.
No, it's a good suggestion. You mean so that people know what they actually promise to collect for their institutions?
It might make things clearer. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
And by the way, none of this is a formal collection. It's not like someone's going to ask you, where are those baseline criteria? It's really just for each of us to be looking at continuous improvement and for discussion.
Okay.
So this is not going to be a formal data collection process.
Okay.
Well, what about the evaluators? SPR will not look at this?
I'd love to find a way to have us link more directly to the Continuous Improvement Council questions, and that's something that we'll be talking with Bellevue College about tomorrow, so maybe we'll have some more on that.
All right, and I know Deb's on here and she represents SPR, and I don't know if any of the rest of you have had your site visits yet, but I completed my first day today with Anne, and it was a very painless and a very fun experience. It was a great way to kind of sit back, and when you're having to speak to all of the things that you're doing or have done, where you're planning on going, it really helped me get some clarity on issues, and it made me see where there's some things that I need to really work on, and other things that, you know, I thought were good and done and solid, and to confirm that. So it was a very positive experience. So certainly nothing to be leery of.
Oh, good. Well, happy to hear you say that, Tony.
And back to the question about connection between SPR's activities and the Continuous Improvement Cabinet. The Continuous Improvement Cabinet, the spirit is just to generate discussion and best practices so that we can have continuous improvement in the consortium. So Debbie, whatever you all land on, that's going to be a separate activity?
Yeah, the only thing I was thinking was that you might be able, through the Continuous Improvement Council, to generate topics that then you could ask us to go look at and report back to you. I'm not saying that we'll be running your process.
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have a global view of the consortium, and I'm sure you'll have some insights.
Yeah, but we buy into this idea that this is a process. The continuous improvement process is something that's owned and controlled by the council itself.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, I would like to say that it is my fabulous facilitating skills that I have that we continue to be successful and wrap these meetings up in a timely fashion. No offense, Esther.
Who votes Tony for one more term?
I'm just trying to make it look so painless that everybody's jumping at the chance to be the facilitator. That's all. No, really, if anybody else has anything else, if not, we can shut this down and everybody can get back to work. Is that okay?
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Tony.
Hey, no problem.
Bye. Bye.
Everyone. Bye.